Hey everybody, welcome back to the Dungeon Dive. Daniel here. Alright, I am here today with some preliminary thoughts on Awaken Realms' new game, Etherfields. Now, you might be seeing some spoilers here, but everything that you're going to be seeing is only from the tutorial mission. So nothing past the end of the tutorial mission will be shown in this video. I am going to do a video where we kind of look through some stuff to see what's coming ahead, because I like to do that. I don't care about spoilers. I like to see what stuff is in my game. So this is just, like I said, preliminary thoughts after learning the game and playing the base scenario, the tutorial, and then moving on to our first real game. And that's what I'm going to be talking about, that experience. I will be following up this video, like I said, with like a spoiler video where we're just going to be looking at a bunch of cards to check out the art. And then another video where after I play more into the game, I will come back with some final thoughts, or more of a review, if you will. At least the kind of reviews I do, where I just kind of talk about the game. But Etherfields so far is a pretty interesting and good game that has a couple huge flaws when you dig into the game right away, at least for me. And I'm going to talk about those two things first. The first is, you'll probably notice that I have the game set up and the board is nowhere to be seen. And that's because the board is out in my garage. I'm looking to cut it into 3 different pieces, because the board is absolutely one of the worst designed boards I have ever seen for a board game. I can't imagine that people at Awaken Realms even played the game on the board they made, because it makes absolutely 0 sense. So, as some of you know, I do have a small game table in my little hobby room. And the board is one of those, a 6-fold board, kind of like, the old Arkham Horror style board. So it's a large board. Normally those fit just fine on my board, on my table, going horizontally in landscape mode. But this board that comes with this game is in portrait mode. And so it has to go, like this, in the way I sit. And it ends up actually hanging off the edges by a couple inches on either side. And when I'm sitting down on this side, the main play area is all the way over here, where you are going to be moving your piece around, looking at the map that you're setting up, reading this tiny little text, looking at these tiny little icons, looking for secrets, looking for hidden information, enjoying the art. It's all the way over there. So if I'm sitting here, the only way I can play the game is to stand up and lean over the table. It is such a flawed design. I can't understand why they made the board that way, especially when the board that they showed on Kickstarter while the campaign was going was horizontally laid out, and it didn't have as much stuff on it. It just focused on the main play area. Really, all the board is a decorative place to lay your cards. There's nothing on the board that you need to play the game. And so I jettisoned it. I might try to cut it into 3 different pieces. We'll see. I probably will just leave it. What they should have done, because the board has 3 different sections. It has a top section where you're going to be having your map. It has a middle section where you're going to be laying some decks. Then it has a lower section where you're going to be laying another map. What they should have done is made each one of those sections a bifold board on its own, so that way the players could put the one in front of them that they need to focus on at that time and push the others to the side. So that was one huge negative. The second one has to do with the cards in the box. There are quite a few cards. You're going to have these large tile cards. You're going to have all of these secret cards. They are in a certain order. The manual does not explain at all how to put those cards in order. The large cards were in like ascending order going this way. And then if you took the small cards, they were in descending order going this way. But they need to line up because as you're working through this deck, it's going to correspond to some cards over here. So they were in reverse order for some reason. I'm not sure why. And also the card dividers didn't have any labels on them. They're just a color. And so you have to like label them yourself or memorize what color means what. None of the card dividers have any kind of labeling on them. It's just, these are things that I harp about a lot on the Dungeon Dive. It's just designers need to think about the experience of a person buying their game, the experience from the minute they open up that box. They need to think about the kind of experience that player is going to have setting up their game, setting up the box, making it easy to play. The rulebook does a pretty terrible job of explaining exactly what you need to do to get started. And somebody has already made this 4-page get started guide that is infinitely better than anything in the manual. And they are linking to this on their Kickstarter page. So it's like, why didn't they just make this? Why leave this up to the community to make? So this game is really rough right out of the box, and it really, really frustrated me because, you know, Awakened Realms is kind of known for their like lavish Kickstarter games, and how come this kind of stuff, how come they're not thinking about this kind of stuff at this design level? It doesn't fill me with a lot of confidence going forward because this is the kind of game with a lot of information that you need to progress through your campaign. And so when things as big as like the board, as a poorly written manual for getting started, for unlabeled divider cards, for no instructions on how to store your cards, when those kinds of things are missing, it doesn't fill me with confidence going forward in a game that has a lot of minute information that has to be 100% correct, or else the game's going to come to a grinding halt. Okay, with all of that said, I really like Etherfields. I think it's a pretty fantastic game. It's done one thing that hardly any story-driven board game has done to me. And it has done something compelling in the narrative field, something that has given me pause. It has done something that has made me contemplate what is going on in this game, and that is just in the tutorial. The tutorial, and that hardly ever happens with me in narrative-based campaign games. Usually, I'm just kind of going along for the ride, you know, maybe rolling my eyes at some badly written prose, wanting to get to the next cool gameplay moment. But I am hooked into this world just based on the tutorial, and it goes in this really meta-fictional place that I was totally not expecting. And it really wowed me. And I'm so looking forward to seeing what is in store for me. Now, I think the best way to learn the game is go ahead and go to the Kickstarter page and get this, this quick start guide. go ahead and read the manual once, and then just kind of stumble your way through the tutorial. Then once you're done with the tutorial, read the manual again, and I think things will make a lot of sense, and you should be good to go with not a lot of hiccups. So what kind of game is Etherfield? It is a narrative-based campaign game where you are playing characters who are going into dreams to try to solve some kind of mystery. You don't even really know who you are or why you are or where you are. You are actually trying to figure out those things while you are playing the game. So this is pretty much the end result of the tutorial, and we're going to talk a little bit about how I ended up the tutorial so you can get an idea of how you play the game and what's in store for you. So you're going to be laying down these big tiles here, and those are going to be laid down in a grid. You have A1 through A4, then B1 through B4, and C1 through C4. So you're going to have a 4x3 grid that your dreamscapes are going to make up, and you're going to be starting on a certain spot, and you are going to be exploring the dreamscape. You are going to be having these different challenges that you're going to have to kind of make set collection and cards from your hero deck to pass these set collections challenges. And then those are basically going to tell you to read a certain passage from the storybook, which is going to, sometimes give you a choice or teach you more things about the game, give you clues about what's going on, and so on. And basically, just exploring the world, looking for clues, and trying to solve the various puzzles in each dreamscape. So you have these large cards, which these are all going to be your tiles. And then you have your deck of small cards. And each dream, when you set up your dream, you are going to pull out all of the cards that you might need. So your dream setup, your dream gate, is going to tell you which cards to pull out. So you can pull everything out from the box, your large cards, your small cards. You can put those aside so you don't have to be going into the box a lot while you're playing the game. This isn't like Seventh Continent, where you're constantly looking for cards, constantly putting cards back, constantly pulling cards out. I was really afraid that this was going to be that kind of game, but I don't think it is. I think you pretty much are going to be pulling everything out at the start of each dream, working your way through it, and then when that's done, you're going to be putting it back. So your dream gate, your starting card, it's going to tell you, where you are, what you're trying to do. It's going to give you your initial page, your initial section that you're going to read, and then it's going to tell you how many turns to set up your turn deck with. So this is one of the decks that you're going to be using to play the game. This first tutorial uses all 12 of the starting tutorial cards, and you're going to be flipping one of those over each turn. And the tutorial cards are going to tell you things that the game is going to do on its turn against you. And each one is different. And so you never quite know how the enemies are going to react to your presence. And when you work your way through the entire turn deck, something happens. I ended up beating the tutorial with 2 turn cards left over. So your characters now, I am playing as the Free Spirit. And there are 4 different characters. The one I was at, the Free Spirit, there is a Specialist. There is a Tough Guy. There is a Gambler. So those are the 4 characters that come with the base game. There is a 5th in an expansion, but I did not get that because as far as I'm concerned, this is a solo game. Each of the characters is going to come with a starter deck of cards. So this isn't really a deck builder, but it is a deck constructing game, kind of like, I would say like the Arkham Horror card game. You're not buying cards in between each turn. You're buying cards in between scenarios, adding them to your deck. And then you can go into a scenario with between 20 and 40 cards in your character deck. And each card is going to give you different points in these powers that you need to build a set. So some challenges you might need 4 yellows, or you might need 2 green, 2 points in green, or maybe 3 points in green to overcome some of the challenges. And additionally, some of the of your heroes cards are going to have some special powers down below that are going to allow you to do additional things. You will also have these cards that are called progress cards, and those you can play underneath your hero dashboard, and those give you like a permanent effect that you can trigger at certain points in the game. Now, every time you work your way through your character's deck, you draw from this side, discard over here when you use the card. Every time you have to draw and you don't have any cards left, you take a point of damage, of fatigue. And if you ever have 8 points of damage, you are dead and you lose that scenario. I believe there is, though, some kind of, fail forward. You don't ever have to start the game over. I'm not quite sure exactly what happens when you die, but it's not campaign over. Additionally, you can pick up these gems here, which allow you to re-roll dice, and there is a luck d6 that you can roll. So let's say you had to do, let's say you had a challenge that you needed 3 greens, but you only had 2 greens in your deck. You could, or in your hand, you could decide to roll this and try to get an extra 1, 2, or 3. But then again, you might come up unlucky, or you might come up really unlucky and something bad happens to you. And then you could also get these, so I think these are spirit stones, these white ether stones. These are experience. And these you can spend at the shop to buy more cards for your hero. And so as you're working your way through the map, there are going to be walls, so you have to move from space to space, avoiding walls. There are secret tunnels that you can discover. You can open and close doors. You can interact with things on the map. Sometimes a passage in the book might actually have you pick up one of the small cards and actually overlay it on the map, changing the map in interesting ways, adding more things to interact with, eliminating things to interact with. In this case, it eliminated a door, so it made the door permanently opened. You have to look at things very carefully, plan your move. It has some hand management and some time management. And eventually, you're going to make your way through the tutorial scenario to where you come out onto the surface. And then you get to enter like I think it's the dream escape, where you are kind of like in an overworld, and then you're going to be traveling from space to space along the overworld. You can go to a shop, you can go to an inn, there's a train station that you can unlock. And so in this overworld, you're going to be going along, you're going to be trying to get to other dreams to go into to solve those puzzles. And then there's also a deck of slumber cards, and there's going to be 2 slumber cards that always come out on top at B3 and B2. And this is going to generate a little map of pretty much side quests that you can interact with your slumber deck. And your slumber deck is a deck of cards. There are quite a few in your slumber deck here in the box, and these are going to be added to your ongoing slumber deck, where you can go to kind of like face little sub challenges, little quicker. These are like quicker challenges than a large dream. In addition to your tile cards, some of the big cards are also enemies. And I like the way they did this. They have certain enemies you're going to tell you how you can interact with that enemy, either by assaulting it, which is combat, or contacting it, which is like a non-combat way. This enemy, something wicked, you could only attack. And then it's going to tell you what it does to you based on the turn card, so blue, yellow, or red. And then as far as the minis go, you really only have like a few kind of generic minis that you can pick to represent any of the monsters you are fighting. So we've got like this guy here, or these guys are pretty cool. And so you can pick whatever you want to have them come out and represent the different enemies that you might be facing in the game. And here are some of the other minis. You can take a look at those. Pretty nice. You know, I'm not the biggest mini guy, but these are nice. And then like the big boss that comes, I think this is one of the Kickstarter not exclusive, but a Kickstarter expansion that is included in the base game. And this is a couple of the larger minis that come with that. And then you also get, like I said, a handful of these tokens of all different colors that you're going to be using. And the game comes with a number of different masks. And these masks you're going to be able to unlock during the game. And they each have something like insider, pain, hate, calm. And these will give your character a certain power and also help you unlock part of the story while you are playing. So this is one of those games that you learn rules while you are playing. The rule book is just really basic. It gives you the basic over idea of how to play. As you unlock rules, you're going to be unlocking these wisdom cards. And the game comes with this card page where you can slip them in, so that way you can always reference the new rules that you have uncovered while you are playing the game. Very handy. This is smart design. So again, it was that initial experience of getting the game to the table and organized and that board that was a really negative first impression. But powering through that, like I said, I'm really all on board on this game. It doesn't come with a ton of chits, which is nice, just these 2 little boxes full. These are used at certain points. I am assuming that these, because you have one set for each character and then a generic set, pretty sure that these are how you unlock your character's secrets, and these numbers probably correspond to paragraphs in the storybook that you're going to be reading. Additionally, you also have some fate cards. These come in play at certain spots on the overworld map where you have the question mark symbol. And these are going to be, again, little random encounters that you have, tons of random encounters. You have these flaws. Sometimes you'll get damage and you have to take a flaw, and then this goes into your deck to clog it up. And then as you are playing, in addition to the large decks of cards that you're going to have, you also have this huge deck of cards here, and this is all cards that get populated in the various decks as you are playing through the campaign. There are 4 of these. These are called Lucid Dreams, I believe, and these are secret decks of cards that you will be opening up. So there's a lot to this game. Stick with it. Just read the rule book once, struggle your way through the first few turns of the tutorial. By the end of the tutorial, read that rule book again, and I think things will really click, and I think we're in store for a pretty damn good time with Etherfields. I kind of wish that I wasn't getting the stretch goal box, because I already feel like I have so much in this game that when the stretch goals arrive, I don't know. It's like we already have so much. I already feel like I have my money's worth. It is a campaign game, so how long am I going to keep this set up on the table? That is, that's one of those things. It's like, I don't know. Hopefully it keeps me interested, and hopefully I want to keep it set up. Like, hopefully I want to keep returning to it. And I'm really looking forward to moving past the tutorial and being able to give you guys some more thoughts on the actual game. So that was it. Just some preliminary thoughts on Awaken Realms Etherfields. I hope you enjoyed this video, and we will talk to you later. Bye-bye.